All right, I've got 6:30. Let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. Roll call.
Travis Kramer.
Here.
Scott McCorney.
Here.
Jeremy Hansen.
Here.
Jason Macy.
Here.
Paul Kraus.
Here. The Open Meetings Act is posted on the wall. Item 4, consent agenda. I didn't see anything that we needed to take out and consider separately. Did anyone else? If not, we just need a motion and a second.
I will make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented. If there's no further discussion, let's vote on that motion.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Jeremy Hansen.
Aye.
Jason Macy.
Aye.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. Item 5, approval of minutes from the April 15th, 2024 regular board meeting.
Make a motion to accept the minutes as I read and presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the approval of the minutes from April 15th, 2024 as read. There's no further discussion. Let's vote on that motion.
Jeremy Hansen.
Aye.
Jason Macy.
Aye.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. Item A, we're waiting on Mike to come in and tell us. Or did you have? They hadn't voted yet.
Well, I think they did. You have it, don't you? The notes on new business.
Just not handed anything.
Mike didn't give anything?
Nope, I don't have anything.
Catch Mike.
He's coming, he's here.
He said he went to the restroom.
Oh, that's all. Never mind.
Okay, item A, discussion of planning commission's recommendation and possible approval of granting 10-foot variance between house and building and 10-foot variance from building to east side of property line at 1610 Walnut. Go ahead.
Okay, good evening. Planning Commission had a good debate about this. I think it falls under kind of general heading that we want to do whatever we can to encourage people to add additions and build houses. With respect to this thing, this particular thing, bad choice of word, excuse me. We talked a lot about where the lot lines are. And again, brought up the topic of whether we're talking about 25 feet from the street or 25 feet from the pins. Our recommendation is that we approve 2 variances. So the 5 foot from the building, and it's our understanding that it would be from foundation to foundation. There would be 5 foot. And then also the 1.93 foot variance on the southeast corner of the building from that lot. As I read it, it says on there 1.93 foot. So we would approve that variance. Largely because, again, the debate about whether we're 25 feet from the street or 25 feet from the lot. And 2, because of that lot, if you read Kate's sort of recommendations, that lot is a corner lot, it's skewed a little bit differently. And there's nothing else in further. There are some other properties on the other side that appear to have that garage about the same distance. So our recommendation is to approve those 2 variances.
My concern with the less than 10 feet from the outbuilding to the house roof was that there's fire code there. And I don't want to give the impression that we're allowing an override of fire codes, because anything under 10 feet was, it has to be firewalled, right?
Cards on the table, if the vote was not unanimous, it's 2-1. And I vote against it for 2 general reasons. One, I have that same concern. Mr. Worley mentioned that probably what they're going to require when they get inside of a certain distance for whatever reason is building codes are going to require him to fireproof that wall.
Yeah.
Put some heavier stuff in there. Does that assuage all the possibilities? Does it now? Again, the motion was from us was from foundation to foundation, partly because on that side of the existing house, it's 2-story. This is going to be a 1-story. So the eaves aren't really an issue. But theoretically, if they were on the same thing, then the eaves are 2 foot and 2 foot, that's foot apart. So I hear what you're saying. I think the overall feeling of the planning commission by majority was that we should approve the variance, or that would recommend.
That would be my only concern is that if we approve a variance, we're not approving, not following the rules. That would be for building code.
Correct, and I would defer to Kate, but I think if you included that in the motion, I think that would suffice. But again, I would defer to Kate, who's our acting attorney.
Dealing with building inspectors, they know the codes and they're gonna enforce that, I'm assuming. I mean, most inspectors are gonna enforce it if it's within so far of a livable structure, they're gonna make you double firewall that particular wall and so far out, probably on the road too.
You keep talking 25 feet for the variance, right? Or for the side, so it's a 10-foot
For
variance?
that southeast corner.
And maybe I'm wrong, but if it's a accessory building, would it not just be 5 from the lot line?
Again, that's the way the current code reads. It depends on whether the lot is established. As we read it from the street. But because of the larger debate we're having, whether that starts from the street, the lot line starts from the street or from the pin. I'm not sure I ever gonna answer your question, but that's the way that we read it, was it's from the street, thereby it's 25 foot, so arguably don't need it there. Based on the chicken scratches that we tried to do on them. Does that answer your question, Jeremy?
Corner lot,
No,
it's a corner lot.
it's a corner lot, but isn't it for any accessory building 5 foot?
Not on corner lots.
Not on a corner lot.
They have to abide by.
The corner setback of 25. Gotcha. Okay. That answers that.
And that's where we get into that from the last variance, where it's 25 for the property line, but we're looking for a variance that goes from the street or highway.
Yeah.
And Mike and I had just hit about briefly today and he asked if I had any concerns. I think it's far enough back off the front of the South Street that the southeast corner will not. I mean, I think it's far enough back that it's not gonna affect any line of sight. I think that's the reason that we have that in place, line of sight for turning vehicles and go across the street. That quite honestly, the pine trees are more of a pain than that will be. They're within our codes for trees. Don't think it interferes with any utilities. There's no utilities. So
Yeah, don't build a garage on top of
no
sewer.
Check
So
now.
I guess the one concern that I have is that we're looking at it from foundation. And do you have plans yet for the building? Like, and not looking at it yet from here's the plans and here's the setbacks from whatever the overhang ends up being, because the overhang is technically what we always go off of. So that would be my only, like, not feeling like I have that information yet, or unless you know exactly what overhangs are gonna be to match, or.
I
No.
don't.
Okay.
We just went off of building size, just to
Yeah.
see where it's at.
And that was part of our conversation, what is our policy collectively gonna be, and the foundation is gonna be overhead. The sense that I got from the planning commission was that, no, we had talked about this, it's gonna be foundation. And so that was the premise of our vote. But I think I referenced the issue that we just had a month and a half or 2 months. Well, it's been longer than that, the garage up on Elkhorn Street. And I remember conversations about, we're talking about overhangs.
Normally, it's always the overhang.
I thought
Because
the
it's the
boundaries of the
footprint of the
building
building.
were normally considered the overhang.
And frankly, that's the way I remembered it.
It is the overhang.
Okay.
Because when I built my garage, I had to cut my overhang off one side.
And from a,
Which, yeah, my mine's
Yeah, I just-
1 foot instead of 2, match the house. Mine went 1 foot, you know.
and I have my BS in fire science, Keith Park.
25% of the lot.
That
25%.
that would make sense from a fire, because just, you know, if you have 2 foot, 2 foot and a 5 foot setback on the foundation and the overhang is 2 foot, well, now you, and Charlie was making jokes about being able to walk across the roofs. So I do think that's.
Just for peace of mind, there's no water or sewer in that area.
I don't think, I think it's only there's.
No, I mean, I look at the maps right here. It all goes the other way. So we're okay. We're good. Water's on the east side and sewer goes away.
And Nick, are those lots combined now?
I'm going to.
Gotcha.
They haven't been yet. I know it's gotta be resurveyed, and new legal
All that,
description written.
right.
And brass tacks is, I have the ability to do that now. I can't put anything on there.
Then, yeah,
Yep.
And you want the 5 foot space for patio or whatever. I mean, what would prevent you from moving it 5 foot closer to that or attaching it to the house? That's just,
I never considered attaching it to the house, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I was asking for the variance to the house to gain myself some room
Yep.
on the east side. Is what that was.
on the northeast corner, what's that distance from the lot line, the farthest away corner from the lot line? You're at 2 feet on the bottom corner or whatever. What's the top?
It was
12.4.
Okay. Just trying to think. I know before we've looked at odd shaped lots and averaged the distance to try and get an estimate of how far the lot line is, if it was, tilted straight.
All from what I can see, that connecting it to the house would put you probably within that 25 feet of that lot line too. That's another reason probably why it can't be connected.
25 foot to the back.
That's what our setback.
Well, and it's
Oh.
wider than your house too, isn't it?
On a house, on an accessory building, it's 5
It's wide.
Yep, gotcha.
So we could make one motion that would approve both variances if that would be fine.
That's how I have it written.
That's what we.
And the footprint's 30 by 40.
right now.
That's what the dimension.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the foundation though,
Right.
right?
Right.
What's the overhangs on the house too?
The
You know?
percentage of it, so people minus 25%.
I'm guessing they're more than a foot though, aren't
I
they?
think they're
Yeah, like
I don't know.
18.
I
They might be putting it.
don't remember talking about percentage on stakes.
So what are those detached garages or so like what's the
Accessory building.
accessory building?
18.12. About 120, I believe.
I just want to make sure that that's taken care of while we're
Yeah.
visiting here. Where'd you say it is? 18?
Total square footage of all accessory buildings shall not be greater than 25% of the lot size.
And that's what, 18 what? What's
Um,
the number?
18.12.120.
That's the entire lot? As you
Entire
read it?
lot. Yep.
Yeah, I doubt if we're anywhere near that.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm measuring right now.
Well, technically the lots aren't combined yet, so. I would say it's a no. Because it would be, I would have to vote no because it would be more than 25% based
Right.
off of what the actual lot is right now.
Well, I would say that the motion would have to include that the lots have to be combined first, because we can't make a.
Yeah.
We can't put an accessory building on a lot without a residence.
13,000 square foot.
And it's 12. Right? It's 30 by 40.
1,200. That's 30 by 40, 13,000. So it's, yeah, it's way good when they're combined.
Mhm. And how tall are the walls gonna be? We don't know that yet.
The only thing we've got in our packet is just the aerial view.
Right.
We don't have any
We don't have any plans.
plans.
I think the first one you submitted to me for the buildings, it was under the required,
Under 16,
yeah. I do believe, I think it's 25 foot, isn't
16 sidewalls.
16 sidewalls.
it? Yeah, but I mean the total.
And 27.
Yeah, the,
27 total
yeah,
was, it's all, I think it was under 16
I think so.
sidewalls.
yeah,
Do you have the plan with you? Or anything? The sidewalls are probably roughly 12 feet
Uh,
sidewalls and then a 12 feet sidewalls.
Mike, do you remember in the discussion was that 1.93 feet? Did that put it 25 foot off the highway?
That was the discussion. That's why I could say
So
that.
where does it say down here 16, but here it says it won't be higher than that.
There's some chatter about where exactly is
That's
the
the-
highway?
Right.
An update.
No,
And
it's down here. It says
middle of the highway or outside of the highway?
It can't be higher
I think
than.
you were in there when, if it's condemned, then it's going to the middle of the highway split.
Right.
And it's not gonna be as tall.
But our general conversation around, was it Burns? The Burns that we reviewed, I think we discussed we gave him a variance based on 25 foot off the street. I was just curious if this was close to that, if it's a precedence.
Unfortunately, I don't know that, you may be able to know more about that just on that map that you were using in there.
Yeah.
Be able to see that.
Yeah, I can't tell because there's no, on the plans, I can't
I
see.
mean, I can go grab a tape and run up and
No, it's, I'm just curious.
step it off.
There's no way to see where the pins are at to know where the property line is anyways.
Visually, I sat up at the corner for 10-15 minutes today. And visually, it certainly seemed to me that it would be 25 foot, because I was trying to, part of the conversation generally is that we want, whatever we decide, yes or no, to be consistent with the area. We don't want to do something that's gonna make it look goofy in the area, or something that doesn't land in it. my assumption, and I think the rest of the commission's was, that this will fit, to John's point with the rest of the area.
Other side of the street. Yeah. I get about 50 feet. From the center of the road to his garage.
The center.
Center of the road to the property on the east of County Road 9
Mhm.
would be 50 feet roughly. And then from center of the road to
To the lot line.
the lot line is like 30, 33, 32. Somewhere in there.
So say you're 2 feet off the lot line, 35. And how wide is that road? You're roughly 25 feet. From the
Yeah, roughly.
road.
I'm getting about, I'm using G-Works in theirs, but I'm getting about 21 foot from the side of the highway to the lot line. And again, it's hay,
Yeah.
could be 23, it could be 20, I don't know.
Just a question, and Chuck, now if I'm out of order, stipulate that it has to be 25 feet from the edge of the asphalt.
That's kind of a moving target, though.
It is.
I don't think that's a consistent measure.
I mean, even the asphalt. So if it would come down to a foot, well, I measured it.
Mhm. Even street widths in this town are a moving target.
It was a little bit easier on the previous property by Travis, that it was, as I understood, it was from the inside of the curb. To that inside of the curb, it's, you know, it's not perfect, but it's pretty consistent.
Does anyone want to make a motion?
Planning commission was unanimous for a yes on this, right?
No, we're not,
Now,
2-1.
2-1.
But I'll be honest, I was in May, and I deliberately waited until it was clear that the motion was going to pass. Mine was arguably more of a ceremonial vote, that I think we would be very careful when we were granting variances. Still generally in favor of doing what's best for the neighborhood and for the community, and I think it's just.
I'm thinking with, not prohibiting the line of sight at the intersection. I think we're good there, so that's why I'm feeling good about it.
Yeah, we're on the bottom half of the road. That gives you a better angle also. Whereas when you're going to the west, you're on the top side and then the trees are right there, so then you don't have an angle to see beyond the trees.
I would say any motion needs to include the combination of the lots before.
And are we asking that the motion is based on this 1.93 feet back from his pin line or from the street distance? Since we don't exactly know where things are at, that's why I'm questioning, what are we asking the motion here?
The pins aren't gonna move. I'd feel much more comfortable with that measurement. Is that okay with you, Nick?
I'm going with you guys, where do you think?
And that was our motion.
At one point.
The street can get wider, the street can break off, construction will change that, but the pins shouldn't move.
Right, they're
And if you're doing the motion, I think you need to go from the building site, like the size of the overhangs. You can't go by foundation because it plays too much with the actual layout. Like you have to, now he can put whatever he wants as far as like overhangs, right? As long as they fit within that variance. Because that variance lays out the actual, footprint.
What's the roof line? Does it go with the house or does it go opposite the house?
Do you have,
I would assume it would match the house, but.
It's sitting.
Usually.
It looks like it's gonna go. It looks like the roof line's gonna run the opposite way. Does that sound right? Yeah. So it's gonna be going, the gable end's gonna be facing toward the north and south.
So the overhang.
The overhangs, and it looks like on here that he's got the overhangs, which I'm sure they can adjust.
Yeah. For me there.
Or 2 feet, they can make it go that way.
oh,
You could probably have a move overhang if you need.
I believe technically the measurements of the building are supposed to include the overhang, so I feel like our motion should stipulate that. If we're. Unfortunately, that may change the size of your building.
is there any way to justify giving him some general guidance to move forward to give us an exact set of plans with if there are fires? I don't know how much liability we carry by approving it and making sure the fire code, like, will the county enforce the things because we already make an exception to our own code? Will they then make an exception on fire rating?
I don't think
no,
they're
the
gonna,
one, we passed one though too that said it must meet the fire code.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like
we just did that up on.
on Elkhorn Drive. And we did it on Sixth Street when I sat on the planning commission. So like, if we do the variance, then we placed it in there when we recommended that, just so that it was in there. And the inspector will require it within 5 feet, like.
Is it sheet metal or is it wood or what is it? What's the finish on the outside?
Metal.
It's metal.
Mhm.
Is it a Morton building or what is it?
Lester building.
Luster? So is there anything about materials? That's what I was thinking. We talked about that before,
I think we did.
because that was the whole thing out of the issue.
Yep.
well, I think that one was
Height.
no residence on the. That was someone that wanted to put. a
I'm
building
talking a
on.
long time ago. I'm talking Croson when things originally got crazy. When we rewrote the law. Cause I know we had talked about that because that's when what's his name wanted to build that lot and put his business on it, back in the day.
And at that time, my understanding was there wasn't.
There wasn't another residence on it, so that's why we wouldn't let him put it.
Right, but I don't remember there being a material ordinance of what
I
was.
remember we had talked about that though, like whether it had brick fitting or whether it was.
Yeah, item E. Garages and outbuildings in residential districts for storage uses and other structure customary and pertinent to the permitted uses and detached accessory garages shall be constructed of materials customarily used in residential construction, including colored metal siding and roofing.
So it's good.
It does say it right there.
So I would say would include the lot lines as our measurement, not the road.
With the finished roof of the building, meeting within the guidelines of 1.93 feet and 5 feet variance between the buildings and or between the house and the building.
Mhm.
You got us so moved on that, anybody?
You put combination of pending combination of lots. I think we should make a clear motion for Kate right now.
Jeremy, the construction guy has a handle on it if he wants to make it. I'm not smart about it. I don't.
You want to make a motion?
That's okay if you don't want to. You know how to word it. So.
Approve the variances pending the combination of lots.
We're going 1.93 feet from the southeast corner, 5 feet.
Have you played with the Nick, if you change the angle to follow your lot line at like 5 feet?
No, I haven't played with that at all.
I just know like it's ideal where you're like sitting there right now, I get that. But if it matched the lot line going back.
But the 1.9 is the number you guys recommend.
Correct, okay.
1.93.
For the southeast corner. With your understanding being that's the foundation outside of the building wall, not the roof line. You,
Say that again.
the 1.93 is the foundation or the wall, not the roof overhang.
That's what our motion was. I think based on the discussion here.
Yeah, now that the roof's run the other way, it actually would hang over the property.
That most definitely will hang over that property line.
Assuming it's too good.
Right.
I'm with you, I'm kind of with you, Nick, if you turn that building a little bit and followed that lot line 5 foot away and backed it up to the back lot line.
Instead of following my
Following
house.
your house.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
kind of-
instead of the angle of the house, if you can follow the angle of the lot line,
Keep it 5 feet off.
keep it 5 feet off that,
The back lot line
yeah.
might help you out
To the north.
to the north.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, if you were
we just
able,
set that in there. I didn't go back to 5 foot because I wasn't,
like, I look at it from an accessory building and I know it would be like frontage. But like, if we said 5 foot, 5 foot, would it fit back in there? In a manner and allow you to build without, too much issue, you know what I mean?
right. Yeah, then it just goes measurement of width where that.
Right, which would pull it
out west corner.
Which would pull it away from the building a little bit too, or from your house maybe
He's saying take the whole thing and just move it northwest,
and north,
northwest until.
and go towards the northwest corner, so.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
That's an option to keep the size of the building without having to trim it for the distance of the eaves.
Because I think, because we've done multiple variances from the perspective of being losing the 10 feet from the house, right? Which then you have to do the fire, double wall, blah, blah.
Right.
But it keeps our property lines and variances, or at least close to what we would have already in place from an accessory building
Did
perspective.
you draw it on there, John, so you can.
I tried to, it's hard to draw in there.
And I'm a visual, I can't picture it. That's not my.
You try to take it off that lot line, 5 foot all the way back and back it up to this lot line.
Further,
5 foot off this lot line.
That's it.
You're 5 foot here, 5 foot up here, basically.
Does that change our motion?
I mean, it
And
would,
then.
it would basically just say,
Farther away from your house.
we grant a variance of 5 feet off of the east property line,
Off the back.
5 feet off the back property line, and within 5 feet of the house. And I could go with that one, like, I'm still flexible with that.
Make it happen.
You know what I mean? Like, cause I feel like we create our space.
Wow.
And to me, that's the biggest thing.
That's probably our
I
best.
just wanna make sure we include the overhang. If we start telling people we don't have to include the overhang, then
No,
people are building.
it's just, it's a footprint, right? It's 5 foot footprint from whatever. So if you wanna shorten, like I shortened mine to a foot, so I could go 5 foot off and then, right, like to give myself the building space as opposed to the overhang space.
So would
I
you
wouldn't
be
go below that,
acceptable with
but-
5 foot off of each corner?
Yeah, if I could finish,
5, 5, 5, and then see what you,
see what I can get in.
see what you can get in there for sure, right? Like, I would be very comfortable with that.
Make
Okay.
that motion.
I'll make a motion to allow a variance for the property of 1610 Walnut Drive. Pending the combination of lot number 90036064 and lot number, is that 6?
8900.
8900, I can't read that one, hold on.
3656,
See what I'm saying?
30656.
By a long way.
8900336656,
Overlay.
360,
Oh,
right?
yeah, yes.
That's what I got from you. Those are all, let us know. I think those are
Number.
The two lots named
the 2 lots.
Right.
in this aerial view.
To a variance of 5 feet from the east property line, 5 feet from the north property line, and 5 feet from the existing structure to include overhangs, yeah.
Do we have a
I
second?
will second that.
Kate, we have a motion and a second for approval for variance for 1610 Walnut Drive. If there's no further discussion, let's vote on that motion.
Jason Weasey.
Aye.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Jeremy Hanson.
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. Thanks for your time, Jim.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Item B, Streets Committee Report.
Chairman,
Just eagerly awaiting.
if you want, we had 2 quick other things from the commission.
Oh,
Do you want that, or none of them are on, neither of them are on the agenda, but just kind of FYI or not, up to you. I'll be there.
all right. Go ahead.
2, the fencing, the general conversation about whether or not we should acquire a permit for fencing. The planning commission recommends that we should for 2 reasons. One, it causes the homeowner to have to go through the process of looking for the lot, thinking about the design, looking at the city regs, looking through the process instead of just, so our understanding is someone wants to sort of open the process there, theoretically they could do that. So forcing them to get a permit, pull permit and go through that process is just why. One of the commission members mentioned there's a little bit of money to be had there if we permit breach fences for the city. So if we're gonna go through the process, Kate and everybody else, it's probably a good idea to just have them go through the process, get a little bit of a fee. You guys have set that, go through the form. Kate or somebody else have to design that, but it's just good. We feel it's good. 2, continued conversation about the setbacks. We didn't, it wasn't on the agenda, so we didn't make any decisions, but I think we're leaning towards 2 things. We're leaning towards from the street. I think that's the general consensus. The challenge is that we're not consistent in the village. Most of the stuff west of the old water tower, east of the old water tower is probably going from the pin. Most of the stuff up there appears to, including my house, is shorter than that. So one of the pieces is it should be consistent with what the rest of the neighborhood looks like. So if all of the houses, if you're looking down at the houses, which I know they did when we built our house, if you're looking down at the houses, they should reasonably line up there. How you write that in code, that's the way we do it.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
All right. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
All right, discussion and possible, well, committee reports. We don't really have anything other than just eagerly awaiting this project and getting over all the hurdles that. No.
Yeah.
One of them, which is our next item. We'll have to get together and work on our strategic plan. Item B, discussion and full approval of proposal from Midwest right of way for one ROW acquisition of 4 permanent easements in the amount of $24,875.
And John Blueberry is in. the Zoom
He's not,
is,
no.
I don't know why his thing's not popping up, but he is here.
Hello all, can you hear me?
Yes. We got you now.
Yep, I just joined, answer any questions you might have regarding this. The latest I got from the contractor is they were planning on starting Tuesday after Memorial Weekend, this coming weekend. I asked for confirmation on that last week and I have not gotten a response. But that's what we heard at the pre-con as far as the start date for the work. Regarding the easements, I did talk with the gentleman with Midwest Right Away, and also followed up a little bit more with Andrew Wilhusen and Ryan Cavan on the costs and compared to what other right-of-way acquisition costs were, and these were in line with those as well. This is a cost plus to a maximum is what he informed me. I haven't seen the agreement, but that's what he informed me. With the intent to request the waiver and for first off and donation for the right of way and permanent easements. So with that, I guess I'll answer any questions that I can at this time.
Anybody have any questions?
John, question for you about this cost. Was this an oversight in the engineering plan originally that we didn't have this amount in there to plan for?
In talking with Andrew and Ryan, it's my understanding that the conversation during design was that the village was going to take care of the right-of-way acquisition. I mean, it was known and it was discussed. I wasn't involved in that process, but I asked that same question, I guess, to both of them gentlemen, and it was their understanding that the village was aware of this and was going to be acquiring the right-of-way. Now, some municipalities, their attorneys do it. Others have these right-of-way firms do that for them. But that was my understanding. It was, I guess, not in the scope for GAO to provide. And there was, from our understanding, there was conversation that was going to be taking place. Now, where that ball got dropped in communication, I'm not exactly sure. And
I don't remember missing any of those meetings in the design phase, and I don't remember it being brought up, but maybe it was glossed over. I don't know. John, do you remember any discussion?
Like I said, there was a lot of stuff going on, so
Yeah.
maybe it was maybe glossed over and we just.
I mean, this is a pretty big chunk for this project for us, and I wish it would have been known to us better.
understood. I can't disagree with that. And I've communicated that to both Andrew and Ryan as well, as we can't get this far along and not be clear as to this is outstanding still, and follow up with you guys as well. Even if our understanding was, as I stated, regardless, we're moving to a construction project and we shouldn't be at this point. I don't disagree with that.
Something, I'm just curious, Steve was here and I thought he had a different finish date. Do you have a finish date on this project? Is there one in the contract? Do you remember?
Yes, I believe it's towards the middle. I'd have to look it up. Mid-September. I can't remember the exact date. I could maybe see if I could find it here.
There was some confusion. I thought Steve was giving us the impression that it wasn't going to be done this year. So,
This fiscal year. Is what he
yeah, I wonder if he didn't have something mixed up that day, but that's what I remembered was August, September. So.
Yep.
Okay,
That's my understanding. Yep.
okay.
So what are the tracks line, these here?
So the S curve, basically that S curve we redesigned, and then there's some on, is there properties on 8th Street? Is that the other ones?
It's on, the radius is on 11th and Dodge. Essentially, the radius is clip off. They're a little bit wider radius. So the back of curb goes just through the right of way. So there's little triangle pieces associated with that. If you have those documents in front of you or not, but it's on the 4 corners there. That would be the permanent easements. And then the right of way acquisition would be the curve on Dodge Street there, between 9th and 11th.
So all of these 5 lots are related to that curve? These 5 parcels?
No, the right of way acquisition is just for the curve that would cut through the one property there. And then at the intersection of 11th and Dodge, you've got the radius returns at that intersection. So there's the back of curve curves around between 11th and Dodge, et cetera. At all 4 of those corners, that back of curve just cuts right through existing right-of-way / property line. So there's little triangle pieces associated with that for permanent easements that gives you guys access for permanently to address it down the road or what have you.
Okay. That answers your question. All right.
Make a motion for approval of proposal for Midwest right away for 1 row acquisition and 4 permanent easements in the amount of $24,875.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the approval of the proposal from Midwest right away in the amount of $24,875. There's no further discussion. Let's vote on that motion.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Scott McBurney.
Aye.
Jeremy Hanson.
Aye.
Jason Reese.
Aye.
Paul Guest.
All right. John, thank you. Is there anything else we need to go over?
Nope, I don't believe so. Thank you.
Thanks for your time. Okay. Item C, discussion about sidewalk at 205 North Second. I thought Terry was gonna be here, but he didn't want to be. That's what we're talking about, Terry's property right here, right?
Because he has until the end of the month to get the sidewalk completed, and so just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page as to what's going to happen come June 1st. Should it not be complete?
We completing or we starting?
I don't know.
Well, if they're not done by
Done?
31st, I would imagine we can start June 1st, right?
Right.
Go get bids and start spraying paint out there. I bet he gets nervous.
So his drop dead date is June 1st. Okay. Any further discussion before we move on?
Do we wait till next meeting to start getting bids?
Next meeting's gonna be
I can
June.
get this.
Do we want to do that?
I'll get a bid from that.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can get bids now.
Because we'll still
That way at
have
least
to
I'll-
approve it in a meeting.
Our next meeting's gonna be after June 1st.
Right, so he's still gonna get 3 weeks cushion before we can
Okay.
approve it.
That way we have them for the meeting at least, and then we can.
So he has till June 1st, and then we'll make action at our next meeting on what we're gonna do. Okay.
Sounds like
Now that we teased James, any further discussion? Not, we'll move on to water sewer, people services report. What do you have for us, James?
Let's see, starting this week, truck should be here to start our sewer cleaning program. We're gonna try to have 2 trucks here. It should only take them a couple days to use the first quarter of the town.
Now, normally we don't see any concerns with people sewer or anything. I mean, I've heard of a shower head blowing off here and there and a toilet blowing up somewhere, but that's pretty extreme cases, right?
Yeah, that's
And it's more than likely a fault within the home.
correct.
Yeah.
If there's something wrong with their venting or,
Okay.
and then it could. But,
James,
they won't be using high power or
Mhm.
high pressure. They'll be using the lowest pressures they can.
Okay.
what quarter of town are they starting with?
It'll be, let's see, up in the corner of Walnut and Elkhorn down to Ellsworth and and then up. I don't remember where it stops.
It's okay. That was just a rough idea.
Oh, yeah, that area.
Northwest, pretty much.
Got it.
I believe the other thing is, I believe John talked to Paul today about a small leak on 7th Street that we aren't gonna be able to get to because of the holiday. And it's too busy. I called Hinton Trenching. They are not available this week. I called Weesey. Weesey said that they could get to it either tomorrow or Wednesday, so that leak will get fixed this. The only other thing I had is last week I got locates from Hinton Trenching that they were gonna start tearing up the streets for this street project. So I called John, asking him is this right? It doesn't seem right. Dates seem wrong. So then I had to call John Hinton. And I don't know where they got miscommunication from the contractor, but yeah, they were gonna start tearing up the streets last month.
Well, we're having a lot of trouble talking to the contractor as well, so hopefully we can get this resolved. I know they're behind on a project in Blair, it looks like to me. So hopefully that'll work itself out pretty soon if they get caught up.
I think that's all I have for you.
James, last year, there was a lot of concern on Monday's water level, the water tower. What's your feeling? Is that something we'd expect to see again this year that we need to consider sending a message about watering? Is there something that we can do?
I don't see it being a problem this year. Late in the year, last year is when I changed the level on our backwash.
Okay.
And we didn't have problems from that time on. So I don't see us having problems. If we do, if we get a drought again all of a sudden, then we might have to look into water restrictions, but as of now, I don't see a problem at all.
Okay, nothing we need to jump on. Okay.
But if somebody asks what days they should water, Monday's the worst day usually.
Monday and Wednesday mornings are,
Okay,
it seems like everybody is watering their lawns.
okay,
Wednesday morning.
all right. Split numbers through the year as far as lift station flow compared to last year. I know it's not always apples to oranges, but it'd be interesting to see what next month shows with the rain that we had.
I know that the flows have increased a little bit daily
Yeah,
when we do have the rain, so
yeah,
I can definitely tell that we do still have
we're still fighting something, yeah.
I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as it was, though. I think we've fixed a few of the problems.
Anything we have going on?
Not really. I mean, we need to do our planning meeting too, I suppose.
Yep.
Kate, the copper survey, is that something you can see percent wise, how many results we've gotten back?
Yeah, and I haven't checked it recently. But since we did send out those postcards, we have been getting a lot more feedback and it has been working, but I haven't looked to see like.
Last time you looked, what would you guess we were at last time you checked?
Last time Jake mostly enters them or like looks at them, so he would know better, but like last time I looked, we did not have very many.
Like not many, like 5% or 20% or
Less than 50.
50 total?
Yeah.
Okay.
I bet there's more than that now, but Jake is the one who's mostly been entering, like I don't really deal with that a whole lot, but I will.
I was just curious.
investigate and let you know.
I did find an old folder with a bunch of information from, I'm not sure who it was from, but there is a lot of information in that folder as to what was put in when these buildings were put in. So I still have to get to his Cape. We'll be able to do that manually.
Okay,
So that should help with a lot of the stuff downtown.
cool.
All right, I don't see anything else. Thanks for your time, Jim.
Thank you.
Item D, police, Washington County Sheriff report. Obviously, we have concerns on Bell Street speeding, but I wonder if they know that.
Well, I was gonna ask him when he came back. I forgot to ask him if he called.
Anybody have anything else for the sheriff?
So, do they get slowed down by the time they get to your house, Jeremy?
It just depends on the day, you know, it's like, honestly,
Something I notice a lot is there's so much people on Main Street and people crossing Main Street. Just the golden rule always used to be if you're on Main Street, you had the right of way. And I see people crossing Main Street without even looking, you know, to yield to the person on their right. Sometimes I wonder, I hate to see more stop signs, but I wonder if we shouldn't. I don't know how we stop people from speeding through intersections without looking. It just. It's terrible in some spots. I don't know. We may have to.
How's your UTV, ATV number been since you sent your card?
Good. So we looked at the one from last year and we had like a total of like 50 some for the year. Right now, we're sitting at 27. So we're only in May.
And that'll probably get a big boost here in the next month.
I would think so, yeah. So I think we'll have more than we did last year.
Did you guys have you guys had a quarterly the previous month, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing the sheriff was concerned about was the parade route.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we need to let someone know.
Yeah, we should probably get with the fair board and
We need to know their schedule.
Tell them.
We don't know when they're gonna be, where they're gonna be, so.
it wouldn't be a bad idea to just warn the fair board, hey, we don't know where construction's gonna be at. You guys should probably start planning an alternative route.
Well, that's gonna probably be up to us to let them.
Tell them what the alternative is.
Yeah,
You just be staging.
you wonder if that's the same contact. You still got the same contact with the water bill, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that would be a good idea to give him a heads up. I'm sure the news will spread fast once they start tearing up streets, but maybe a heads up would be nice. Anything else for the sheriff's report? If not, let's move on to parks. Parks Committee report, do you guys have anything for us?
No, we haven't. We're gonna meet and get together and talk about strategy and projects that have been kind of on our docket that's been kicked around. We'll do that before our strategy meeting.
How's the parts for the swimming pool
I
pump?
got it all put together today. There's a couple things that needed to dry on it.
Yep,
I'll fire it up tomorrow. Hopefully, fingers crossed, everything.
blue water soon, hopefully.
I called,
It's greenish.
I called the assistant manager, Nolan, May, he's out of school. He's gonna come tomorrow and do some vacuuming and brushing the bottom of it.
Yep,
So hopefully we're still good for Saturday or so, but if not. We hope.
yeah.
Well, there's blue.
All right, library report. I don't know why I can't say that word. Looks like they're having problems with the window. I saw something about the door. Did we do anything with that door? She was having trouble unlocking. Is that an issue or?
I put a new doorknob on it again.
Okay,
Hopefully she can, this will help.
Sorry. Kitty Douglas first we struggled to unlock. I didn't really see that detail before.
So what happened with the window?
The window itself is just old.
Oh,
It's the original window from the property
mm-hmm.
when they built it in the 50s, 60s. So it's, the outside moldings are all coming off. It needs to be replaced.
So this is just like the rest of the auditorium. It's just their old.
Yeah.
It's just old. I asked the guy that came, I said, is it repairable? No, he said, you're gonna have to replace it.
Well,
So. Are they looking at reframing it and throwing in 3 vinyl windows?
No, this is gonna be, it's all one unit. It's a vinyl window, but it's all one unit.
Okay,
They get molded together is what, right now, they're 3 separate windows, but they're molded together as well.
yeah,
So it'll be, he said it may come out as in 2 units, or they may bring it out in one. It's a 12 by 7 window. It's a
Right.
huge window. He didn't know how they bring it out. And that's it. And this is a lifetime warranty on this window, he said, so. If anything ever does go wrong with it, or thing breaks or whatever, they'll come out and replace it for nothing.
so they went ahead and just bid the whole auditorium.
They did, I had them bid the other windows as well,
Gotcha.
while he was there, along with these other 2 bids. The other 2 companies that came out before we knew anything was wrong with the library window.
Yeah,
I wasn't gonna have them come out for. I mean, I sure can have them come back. But quite honestly, I don't, this is more of the one in the auditorium is more of a residential window, the others are more commercial. If you know what I mean, like the storefront window, Window World. Let's just worry about the one, I can explain the Window World bid for the auditorium
okay.
later.
But this bid had no bearing on getting the rest of it. It was,
No, this is just if the one for the auditorium, which. Quite honestly needs to be addressed sooner than later, or else it's.
When you say the auditorium, we're talking about the library?
Library.
Okay. Okay.
okay, well, if it's bad, it's bad. I guess it
It is.
is what it is.
I guess my only question though, like, so Lindy came out though. And that's the bid for,
That's for the auditorium windows,
gotcha,
which are in block, basically. They're
Mhm.
old. They're the
And then there's another one.
steel windows. I
yeah,
had them match.
which they'll do the metal frame, they'll do the metal trim and,
Correct.
yeah,
Correct. Now, the one with Window World, which I was gonna wait until we went over that.
right,
Is a different, it is a vinyl window.
right,
Window World.
for both the auditorium.
Right,
and-
well, they'd have to they wanna buck out the windows, wrap them with something and then put them in.
Right. And Lindy will just do
They'll do this,
basically,
like we did in the bathrooms, basically.
yeah, the aluminum frame,
Well, they're
metal and then, yeah, painted bronze.
I think, yep,
Are we gonna be happier with metal frames or? Is there gonna be much difference between that and the vinyl?
that's kind of up to you. One has a lifetime warranty, the other does not. I mean,
The
that's
metal ones don't have a lifetime warranty.
nothing that it says anything about a lifetime warranty, and then you would think that when they came out, they said, our windows have lifetime warranty, but they didn't say that. So
What do we put in the bathrooms?
those are the aluminum or metal.
Metal.
Color, yep.
Yep.
And they can do the same color with a vinyl,
Okay, so it doesn't matter.
but it's just gonna look a little bit different.
So let's go over item C. This is a priority. It's leaking inside.
I would say that the priority right now would be the library. I mean, if you guys aren't comfortable with the bids that I've received for the auditorium,
And Window World said that it is a lifetime warranty.
correct.
For the $5,677.
Correct.
That's immortal.
Uh,
I've bought windows for a while, so
for a 12 by 7,
that seems like it's a big window.
It is.
just from what I've.
With instructions.
Yeah.
This is a good sized window.
Is that price seem in line to you?
From my little research lately, it's
Yes,
in line.
I just don't know what I think of a
Well,
vinyl. I know it's their higher series, but I just don't know how I feel about that in that space. That's my only thing.
this is the one that's in the front window,
I did talk to,
right where the circulation desk is.
I talked to somebody in town that had them put windows in,
Yeah,
and they said that they're very nice windows. That's all I can go by.
So then. And these will be double hung, so they'll open.
Correct. Whereas now the windows that we have, there's casements are, like a window, just a permanent window.
Yeah, just-
awning windows on the bottom.
This on the bottom right here, right?
Yep.
This right here?
Yep.
I'm good with it. We'll see what happens. If it looks like crap, I'll take the heat, Jeremy.
You making that motion?
I'm making that motion. Approve the quote from Window World to replace the library window in the amount of $5,677.00.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second.
Question on this. For instance purposes, does the library have the money for this or just come out of the auditorium account?
I believe this would be, I don't think we have that in the auditorium
We
account.
do because we put quite a bit in for remodels and stuff this year.
Last year when we did budgeting for library, we took out everything structural and called it auditorium and just kept them about books and about librarians and things like that.
I don't think it's fair to take it out of their budget for building maintenance,
Okay,
So do I need to add that to the motion or are you good?
I got it.
out of the auditorium fund. Okay. We have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, let's vote on that motion.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Jeremy Hansen. Jason Weasey.
Aye.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Item D, discussion and possible approval of quote to replace auditorium windows, and that's the other two bids for 24 and 25,000 and change.
There's three. There's one for 47,887. There's one for 24,944, and there's one for 25,912. The one from which doesn't even have the name of the place. Came from Omaha Door and Window, basically, but they have a contractor that they work through. That this came from, I must not have the cover sheet on it. It was quite a bit more because they're worried about an abatement thing for asbestos and lead, whereas the other two companies said, I'm pretty sure that there's no asbestos or lead in there. We are covered for abatement. They did say that if it need be, but they weren't too worried. With that, Jeremy, the ones from Window World are vinyl. They will, like I said, they'll frame them out, put the vinyl window in, wrap all the framing, out the vinyl window. You've seen it done before, I'm sure.
Yep.
And the other one is a storefront window from the Lindy Glass and the other company. Which would match what we put in the bathrooms. And that is for all the windows, and small ones in the bathrooms downstairs. And there's two like eyebrow windows up above, like the basketball hoop,
Mhm.
way up top. And then there's like 5 big ones that,
Do any of these, are they gonna open? Do they need to open?
no, none of it, well, through Window World, they will.
They will because they're double
They're
hung.
double. But through the other companies, they will not. They will all just be windows.
Could still do this out of auditorium repairs if we pick the,
My suggestion to you would be to go with Lindy Glass. Local company, they're all gonna match what we have in there now. On the front, there's no lifetime warranty, that's the only,
Is the lifetime warranty on like frame
yes.
everything?
I couldn't believe it either, and the paint, and if the paint gets broken, they'll just come out and replace it. It blows my mind too, but.
On a commercial building.
Mhm. You can do it pending the lifetime warranty, and we could revisit it if the guy says, oh, it's not gonna be on them. We could revisit it next month. We want that lifetime warranty in writing.
I know the auditorium windows we need to do.
We need
right?
something, because you can, during the winter time, you can put a match out if you just put something in front of them.
My only question is this, we have approved the one that needs done. That puts the window world in place for the front ones. And I would be comfortable seeing
Seeing what
how that goes and what it looks like before I say, let's do,
that's fine.
let's do
The
all.
only other thing is, I'm kind of holding off on the painting of the exterior.
Until you get to that point.
Or else it's gonna be,
Yep, no, I get that one.
and it's not a big deal, it's not like that. It's been like that for.
Cause I'm guessing window world's what, how far out week wise to start projects?
That I didn't.
I'm guessing 6 weeks and we're gonna be done. That's my guess with those guys.
Yep, yeah, and that's not a problem.
But I would be comfortable seeing that front big window first before I say, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a big deal, I just was gonna give these guys to you so we can move forward with other things too, but no, that's fine. I don't know how long these bids will be good for, but I can always contact them again and say,
And double.
are these good?
Yeah. That's just my opinion, but.
I think
You
that
guys
makes
want
sense.
to.
See what kind
Yeah.
of idea one.
I just want to see
I'm good with that.
what it
For the
looks like
same reason.
before I just say, yep.
Okay, item E, discussion about landscaping in front of the library.
I think that this is about the front area.
Sheila Brock, yeah.
Where the, like, looks like evergreen bushes and stuff. We had talked about tearing that out last year and then coming in, and I think you guys, or 2 years ago maybe, we're gonna give them a donation to,
Roots to Wings.
to
Yeah.
do something with it.
We discussed a couple years ago and I
Yeah.
don't know if that ever happened or if it just was changed.
Yeah,
But,
I was just waiting on her to say to go, if you want these tore out and I think that's the question, if we're still planning on them doing that.
I have no problems.
are they still doing it? Roots to Wings? I've never heard a word about
I
it.
don't know, but I can contact Sheila again and ask if they're still interested in that. If not, I think that it had come up, somebody up at the library or somebody wanted to know if the city can do something about it. But we can reach out to Roots to Wings again to see if they're interested.
Yeah.
And I think that's what that's all about. When Kate gets back, maybe.
That's what it is.
Pretty sure that's what it's.
I called Kate about it. Sheila called me and said, hey, a couple things. The book drop, curious how we were coming on that. And then if we were going to put a book drop up there, is it time to redo the bushes or whatever? So it was that kind of the whole thing is a
I
package.
can get a hold of Roots to Wings. Maybe I'll stop in there someday and see if they're still interested.
Our book drop, is it on this wall over here?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
right into the office.
Which is where everybody stands. They're outside smoking.
Yeah.
And the trash can right here just isn't quite enough.
Apparently that's
Or this.
not as much,
Yeah.
it's not as much fun as putting them in the library slot.
Yeah.
We're gonna reach out to Roots to, John, you're gonna do that?
I can sit down there someday and
John will reach out to Sheila with Roots to Wings on the landscaping.
see if they're still.
I'd like to talk to the library board about this book drop thing. The one that we expect is 5,000 to 6,000. I found one that looks like a bolt down with a key for about $1,000.
And I found one for about 2 bags.
Okay, so
Decal and everything, so.
if we can see if they're okay with that and then confirm wherever its location would be, where to put it, if we need a small pad, I don't know, John, if that's something if we went down that path.
I wonder, I haven't quite figured out what they need that for when they have the inside one now. I think it's just gonna cause problems. Kids are gonna screw with it.
People are just gonna throw rocks in it.
Yeah, they're gonna throw more stuff in it, but.
So table this till next month?
But maybe as board just need to talk about it. The concern was putting cigarette butts and things in the building.
I mean,
And the
how does
risk of
this,
fire.
well, obviously that stops them from putting them in the building, but it
In the
also
building.
does seem like a bigger target,
Well,
a more obvious target. So, but we're gonna have cameras someday soon, right?
Yeah, we've been checking in.
Maybe
so I
that'll
guess there's the
put-
question is, do we deem that as a big enough concern that we need a book drop? And if we don't, we'll say just use the book drop and
And maybe the next option, I'll swing by and look at the book drop. Maybe we can fabricate a metal container inside the building even. That they drop into the metal and
It
then,
had metal in it before. I don't know where it went. the inside of it was all metal.
Was all metal, like maybe we need to go back and look at it that way, right? So it drops into metal. If someone drops a cigarette, at least it's contained somewhat,
There we
you
go.
know, like we could look at it that way too. Okay.
All right. Item F, cemetery. When the lights are looking good out there.
Well, this is the big weekend of the whole year, so.
Oh, yes. Everybody's looking.
Yep, they got the eagle up now, so it looks nice. Yep.
All right, moving on. Item G, administrative. Anybody have any questions or concerns on the building permit report? If not, let's move on to the clerk report. Kate, what do you have?
I don't know, I feel like it's been busy, but I don't know, like it's just cool stuff. The right of entry notices and the tree removal notices, that was a lot, and then trying to get more right of way acquisition proposals. But people were like, this is just too last minute, and I was like, I get that. What else? Jake's worked here for 1 year, as of May 1st. Happy work anniversary to him. Okay. I don't know. It's some questions.
Speaking of tree removal, a question I had brought up to me, do you think we could use tree grants to replace some of those trees that we have to take out on that ninth?
I don't see why we couldn't, I mean.
I'm honestly surprised I haven't heard from somebody. There's so many trees with pink.
Actually, there's a couple of them that were happy we were taking out, so.
That's not normally the case. I hope it continues.
We didn't have any complaints from any of them.
I didn't hear.
Good.
I talked to all of them, that many trees.
All right. Anything else for Kate? Let's move on to items.
How many seasonal?
Waters with overgrown lawns, you know, those things.
Yeah, 2 property owners with overgrown lawns, one said he'd get to it when he could, the other one, we never heard back, so we mowed it.
Have we sent Fastwire a bill for mowing theirs?
That's the one,
Okay.
so trying to figure out how I'm going.
Maybe.
How many seasonal employees do we have?
Huh?
Seasonal employees do we have? Counting lifeguards? So you have one, John, you said?
Bill, yep.
Still?
11 or 12.
Oh, yeah.
John, I know you'd like to see us get rid of this, but does anybody have any concerns about signing the agreement for the interlocal with the baseball complex as it is?
There's an updated survey in there, the boundary lines have changed, I don't know why, but anyway, that's in your packet. And then we'd have to change the dates in there, obviously from whenever 2017.
The only thing that I would suggest is if we could meter the water down there.
Well, and it says in there something
It
about,
says we pay for all the water anyways.
but there's something.
We get reimbursed from the bill or.
No, we just get to pay for half the fertilizer and all of the utilities.
Village shall reimburse the school for 50% of the associated costs within 30 days. Is that? Oh, fertilizer and seeding. But it also says that the school will reimburse the village for the cost of any electricity and water that is consumed in association with baseball field and concessions during the months of March, April, and May. But I don't
We've never
know.
traded money as far as I know.
No. And I don't even know, we can't meter the water down there. Like, it's no meter,
There is no,
so I don't know.
we can go over half the electricity.
Right, and then
For all of the electricity.
And then number 20, insurance. I don't know that we've ever had this liability coverage for amounts of $1 million for one accident and 5 million in the aggregate. I don't know. Anyway, those were just the things I was reading that I was like, I've never done any of that. I don't know.
And we have an agreement with them for softball down at the other complex, don't we?
For
Well, they just using the complex, don't they cover some costs down there too?
They pay their electricity, all of it, every month.
The school pays for the ball comp.
AYS.
AYS.
Oh, no, I'm talking like the high school softball in the fall. That
That's
they,
probably between them and
That's
AYS.
them and
They
AYS.
must work that out.
oh, got
I just get.
Isn't our agreement with AYS just the lease?
Yeah, that's who's.
For the whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they take maintenance, everything.
They pay OPPD. That's it. That's for.
Well, do we want to look at changes
I mean,
or do we want to approve it? It's up to you guys.
If we haven't sent them an invoice, that's probably why they haven't sent us money. That would be my guess. Because they were in agreement with all this, because that was when
I don't think,
Paul and I wrote this all up.
I guess this is a larger question for this. So the part that we, like, it's an agreement between the three, is there a way we can just lease it and be done? Why do we want to continue to maintain it, that, like, have the responsibility?
Well, some of this was when we were still, there was a town team too.
that's been the concern is there's people that feel that the town needs to support the town team. And that's why we're in this.
But that doesn't exist.
The Legion too, I think there was the high school Legion team that they talked about. They don't really per se field where the other teams in town.
So like, for example, I don't think there was any money exchanged when they got new refrigerators down there or anything like that. The school just said like, we're gonna go buy new refrigerators or whatever. Or we're
But the
putting,
Legion
we're
is,
putting new concession stands.
Legion is what group though?
It's
Its own?
Arlington Legion, Junior Legion team, I guess. I'm assuming it's a youth sports.
Type of thing.
Yeah, basically, it's a town baseball team.
But I don't see why we still can't just say. And lease it for $1 and. I mean. Just makes sense. Who has to mow it?
Those fairgrounds.
Like they take care of all that.
This is who owns the property.
right.
So
We would have to lease it from them. And then, you know, because it's not we don't own any property.
That's why we paid for fertilizer and stuff after May.
after that.
Because
To
Legion
maintain
plays to maintain it.
And we don't have, I know Paul had mentioned that, we don't have a problem mowing. We just mow basically the field and the infield. We don't do anything on
Fair mows around.
Yeah,
That's
Around.
unless it gets out of control, which it does. Sometimes we go down there. Clean it up.
Gotcha.
So do we approve it or table it?
The parks people took care of it last time, which was Paul and I, so. Whatever the parks people on the side.
you approved the auditorium thing.
That is what she's saying, those windows.
I don't think it's gonna make or break us either way. It's,
All I know is Paul and I went to too many meetings to help draw this whole thing up, so I don't really.
Jeremy, do you have any feelings on?
If you guys wanna go meet with them, I bet they'll meet with you.
Yeah, I just don't want to open a can of worms either. If it's not hurting us terribly either way, it's like.
Well, I mean, it's different
Right.
people, they'd be different people now, it'd be,
Yeah.
so like, Paul and I met with Lynn and. Or Daniel, now you would be meeting with Lewis and. Chase,
Maybe, I don't know.
Chase.
Or Shayla.
and maybe Shada Chase for sure, I would think, he's the new president, so.
I guess as a board, is there something that we want to get out of this by revising it? Is there something we're looking to get out of it in changes?
Well, I can tell you that some people are concerned that they leave that light on at the scoreboard all the time. And that we pay for it. I don't know how much that costs us. Does that cost us a lot?
It runs all winter too, that, yeah.
Yeah, that's the part, yeah. Any guesses on that, Kate?
I have no idea.
We could, I can go down there, turn it off. I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna say a word.
Well, that's a former village board member that would get worked up about that. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yep. I mean, I'm sure that the school about it they would not be in disagreement that we can shut that one.
That's weird. It seems like it just on sometimes and sometimes it's off, like in the winter time. Maybe kids are walking, they'll get it there and they flip it on.
We own zero. That property, right?
Right.
Basically, we're supplying a place for the older than eighth graders to play baseball.
If we didn't provide it, who would provide it? The school would have to allow them to play?
I guess, yeah.
So like in essence, it's us saying yes to a team that's really not our team even, it's not even our organization. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me, but like, I mean, not that I have a problem with this, but like.
In the discussion. And then, you know, there's people that feel that the town.
That it's-
That's part of supporting the town, like opening a pool that doesn't make money.
Or a good example is the auditorium when we let the club teams use it for free for
Right.
practice. I mean, it just seems like it's just one of those things that we provide as a service.
To get that, because we own, we don't own this,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
so it just doesn't make sense to me, that's all.
No one's mad. You do whatever you guys want.
I don't think anybody disagrees with you.
But I get, like, I'm sure it opens, you know, a whole. Okay, then. What about this? What about that? Like, I get it, right? So. I mean, right now I say. Is it each year?
I think it's been 5 years. Since
5 years?
Yeah.
That's what Dr. Lewis recommended again, was a 5-year term.
With a up to 1 year extension.
Right, because it renews.
Yeah, it actually expired.
Yes, it auto renews for 1 year after the 5-year term, so it technically only expired this past December. Not the December before.
Well, I'm looking for either one. If we want to have more discussion and table this, or if you want to approve it.
A big part of it was town team back then.
Yeah.
And there's no town team anymore.
And there's what?
There is no town team anymore. Adult men playing baseball.
So if a motion was made and it was voted down, would that be the opportunity to revise the contract, or is that the right approach to that?
And you can revise it if no one moves.
We don't have a valid contract now. I don't think we need to make a vote. I think we just need to say, we'd like to
I'd like
discuss.
to go and have a meeting, yeah.
We'd like to
Let's have the
discuss
three
these.
groups come together.
Is that what we want to do?
Is there anything we're looking to get out of this contract if we have this meeting and get together and say we want to make changes or don't want to make changes?
Either
guess-
way,
I guess what I'm looking for is if we're all saying it's fine, then let's extend it for 5 years. If we're saying we want something out of it, what is it we're asking to get out of it?
Yeah, what are we actually getting out of it?
right, I don't know.
Well, utilities probably one.
To me, utilities, right, like, if we personally aren't using. Their property.
Yeah.
Why should we be
So
paying?
who ended up repaying for the whole dugout? That was all FEMA though, right?
I think the school paid for all
School
that.
paid for that. Yeah, they're, other than us just helping pay for the summer fertilizer and all that stuff, I think that's,
Well, let's table this,
that was the original intention.
have some
We'll
discussion.
put it on our parks then, and we'll go from there.
Okay,
That sounds good.
all right, table it for now. Item D, discussion and possible approval of a quote from Lauren for valuation adjustments in the amount of $793. Seems pretty straightforward. It looks like they just made an error, or is it valuations going up?
I don't know. Me and this guy named Clayton drove around for a long time. And he was looking at all this stuff and.
I suppose there's new,
I think, I don't know how frequently they do this.
like the dog park probably wasn't in there before, probably just updating our new.
Yeah, like the swimming pool, little shelter thing.
This is an annual adjustment.
I don't think it's annual. Cause this was. I don't know how often they do this. If this was like every 5-year type of thing.
Oh, the price increase.
Oh.
Yearly price increase. Throughout the policy period of 9/30/24 would be approximately $793.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so it'll probably be more for a whole year policy, but
right, when they redo or whatever, yeah.
okay.
I don't know, like they didn't have like something with the well house on there, like they just didn't have some stuff on there. The maintenance shop like was significantly smaller in there, whatever, they didn't have that addition, so whatever.
Just getting caught up with it.
Yes, and
Sure it is.
Okay,
yeah,
What's your note mean, move to Alta PIO, what's that?
that's what she had written on there, is that this property in.
Okay.
Yeah, the only other thing she really said about this was that we have blanket coverage, so like if something costs more, whatever, it can just get pulled from another category. Not really necessarily. That's really all she had to say.
Oh, the shelters, maybe, yeah.
yeah, that's it. Do we have a motion?
The generator.
I'll make a motion to approve a quote from Lauren for valuation adjustments in the amount of $793.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the approval of the quote from Lauren. There's no further discussion. Let's vote on that motion.
Scott McBorney.
Aye.
Aye.
Lacy.
Aye.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Paul Rudd.
Travis and I would like, if you guys don't mind, having a vote on going into closed session for quick update on contract discussion. You're all right with that?
Make a motion to do so.
I'll second it.
We have a motion, a second to go in closed session for contract discussions. Let's vote on the motion.
Jason Lacy.
Yes.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Scott McBorney.
Aye.
Jeremy Hanson.
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. 8:01.